Davidson County Sheriff Lyle Swenson was a candidate for U.S. Marshal. Today, Senator Tom Daschle recommended to President Clinton that he appoint Swenson to the post. Swenson has been the Davidson County Sheriff since 1965 and has been nominated as a candidate for U.S. Marshal twice before. If appointed, Swenson would replace Robert Ecofee, who resigned in April. Shifting gears, Governor Bill Janklow was blasting President Bill Clinton's proposal for a nationwide curfew.
Janklow says the president should mind his own business and concentrate on more important goals like balancing the budget. The governor says the proposal, which was suggested to fight juvenile crime, should be left up to local officials. Sioux Falls police, meantime, say the 11 o'clock curfew they enforce works well and there's no need for an earlier one.
Well, the 11 o'clock curfew that we have had and have enforced quite strongly over the last few years has seemed to make a pretty dramatic difference in some of the youth crime problems that we've had at night, and I think that the 11 o'clock curfew has proven to work here in Sioux Falls.
Governor Janklow says the president is in his campaign mode and comes up with these ideas every 72 hours.
In other state news tonight, the equivalent of 250 full-time jobs will be cut in the state transportation department in the next 3 months. Governor Janklow says the moves will save about $7 million that can be used to repair, maintain, and rebuild highways around South Dakota. Janklow says the plan will keep enough maintenance workers to take care of the routine work, and seasonal workers will be hired to deal with snowstorms and other periods of heavy work. Department of Transportation Secretary Ron Wheeler says the changes will not hurt the services the department provides. In World Watch tonight, a big stink is brewing between police in Des Moines, Iowa, and an animal rights group. Two protesters with the group People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, tried to dump a truckload of hog manure at the entrance to the Pork Expo at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. They were each charged with depositing debris in the road, stopping in the middle of the road, and driving a vehicle with no license plate.
Finally, some activity at the Freeman Ranch in Jordan, Montana. For the first time in weeks, people have left the compound. Authorities have identified them as Gloria Ward and her common-law husband, Elwin Ward, and her 2 children. The couple have been running from child welfare officials who want to put the children in foster homes. The standoff between the FBI and the Freemen began almost 11 weeks ago. And firefighters in Alaska are finally making progress in their battle against the savage wildfire. Today, calming winds and reinforcements from the lower 48 states help firefighters get control of the blaze, which has already burned more than 60 square miles. Officials estimate as many as 500 homes have been damaged or destroyed, while hundreds more residents wait patiently to return. Scott Bowden is in our weather center, and it was a little windy out there tonight, but for the most part, it was kind of a nice evening for a change.
Yeah, you know, I was just wondering, have you finished your deck yet?
No. Tonight, though.
Oh, I have a feeling you're going to be using it this weekend. We're going to see temperatures in the upper 80s.
Good.
Sounds good.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, well, we have to wait till the weekend until we get off of work and we can enjoy this weather. Let's go to the almanac and show you what we started out with. Started out with a temperature of 51, only warmed up to 70. Normals are 78 and 53. You saw a lot of cloud cover today, so those temperatures really didn't heat up like we would like them to have. Records are 133. We didn't even come close. Precipitation, well, none since midnight, although we may have seen a trace around 7 o'clock when we did see light rain out in Sioux Falls. We're still below normal. Sunrise 5:46 tomorrow. Sunset is at 9:05. Let's take a look at some other high temperatures across the region. 68 was the high in Pierre, 67 in Aberdeen, 68 in Watertown. Looks like Sioux Falls escaped with the warmest temperature in eastern South Dakota, but Sioux City did hit 74. The temperatures right now, 59 in Pierre, 58 in Aberdeen, 58 in Watertown, 59 in Brookings, 60 degrees right now in Sioux Falls, and we're seeing a little bit of light rain outside. Most of that has pushed off to the east. Humidity 84%, winds are out of the northwest at 15, and the barometer is rising at 29.91. Well, let's show you what's been going on for the last 24 hours. We're still seeing this low-pressure system pump a lot of clouds into South Dakota. That's why those temperatures really didn't heat up, and with some of those clouds, we even saw showers and isolated thunder showers. The good news, though, is we're starting to see some clearing out west, and that will slowly be moving east. By midnight tonight in the eastern sections, we will see partly cloudy skies, and it's just shaping up to be a nice night. Well, that low pressure system is also associated with a cold front, and right along this front, that's where the severe weather is today. Tornadoes, winds, even a boy was struck by lightning in Arkansas, so a lot of strong weather. That's the same system we saw that moved through our region, but once it got to this point, a lot of warm, moisture, cooler air moving from the north, they saw some strong thunder showers. As for us, well, we just saw light showers move through. 0.07 of an inch in Huron. That was the most rain that was measured. As far as everybody else, just light showers now in Watertown and Sioux Falls, and that is all moving off to the southeast, like I said. Well, your no-wait forecast is calling for a gorgeous day tomorrow, 73 degrees, but we'll put up with some partly cloudy skies tonight with a low of 50. We'll have a complete look at the 5-day forecast, but let's continue News 5, 12 at 10 with Ted, Sherry, and John.
Thanks, Scott.
And in sports, Sioux Falls is the place to be for women's athletes.
Yep, third annual leadership conference for women's athletics as women's sports took center stage here in Sioux Falls, which began this morning, actually, downtown, after Tuesday's decision to keep the volleyball and basketball seasons where they are in high school athletics. South Dakota High School Activities Association holding their annual sports leadership conference. Meet the Challenge. This year's theme is South Dakota coaches and girl athletes gather to discuss various issues affecting girls' athletics in the state. The association feels it's important to continue stressing athletics as part of young girls' lives.
One of our goals is always to help increase the awareness and concerns of girls' sports and girls' activities, and so this is one way that we can help.
Women are enjoying their new opportunities, and they're having such a very good time with the support of people like this convention.
Sports Leadership Conference continues through tomorrow right here in downtown Sioux Falls. Coming up a little later on, Ted, some hockey highlights that you have to see to believe. I'll leave it like that.
All right, you'll keep us waiting. Thanks, John.
Traffic accidents are the main cause of death and injuries for teenagers in Sioux Falls, that according to the South Dakota Safety Council.
But efforts to prevent accidents and save lives shifted into gear this morning. The city of Sioux Falls donated a surplus police car for the Safety Council's teen defensive driving course. Use of the 1993 Crown Victoria will help teenagers learn valuable driving skills before they get their licenses.
Coming up on News 5, his background is in business, but he's growing into a different occupation, one he hopes will harvest great results. That's in tonight's People You Should Know.
A new logo was unveiled for the city of Sioux Falls with the hope of cashing in on tourism.
And it's a waiting game in Mitchell on a 3-year study regarding the water. We'll tell you what's at stake next on News 5.
My name's Jack Holiday. I decided to spend the evening alone. Actually,
Bowden's in next with our 5-day forecast.
And 78 Minnesota schools have closed in the past 7 years, but members of a small district in the southwestern part of the state say the proposal to close their school won't come without a fight. More News 5 is next.
News 5 at 10 is brought to you by Keystone Outreach.
I can remember when my life seemed hopeless. I had lost my self-respect, my job, and nearly lost my family. Alcohol controlled my life. Then I went to Keystone for help. At first I thought I was giving up something. Instead, I was given a whole new life. Keystone's recovery program was the beginning of my freedom. Call Keystone Treatment Center today at 1-800-992-1921.
On the next Cops, a man threatens his wife with a shotgun.
He just took his fist and hit me in the back of my head like this.
Now, police must confront the brutal wife beater.
That guy is not playing with full dead. You need to come on and talk so we can settle this right quick.
But can they defuse a deadly situation?
The husband supposedly has a gun.
On Cops.
KTWB 1019. Dan Ferris is back on the radio.
And Dan Christofferson is back in country music.
We're together again for the first time on The Outlaw, KTWB 1019.
Come on, join us early mornings on The Outlaw.
We're just a couple of guys who like to have fun.
Yeah, and give away a ton of free stuff.
With real chances of winning.
So there.
Na, 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 na.
It's Dan and Dan on The Outlaw, KTWB 1019.
Now it's time to Ask Rosie.
Maureen Crimmins from New Jersey writes, Dear Rosie, why did you pick the daytime to do your new variety show? Well, I'm up, you're up, the baby's up. What the hell?
Finally, something different in daytime.
Dear Rosie, is it true that your new daytime show will have a live band? Katie in Mahwah. Yes, Katie, it is. We thought a dead band was just too creepy.
The Rosie O'Donnell Show, premiering June 10th.
Weekdays after Regis and Kathy Lee. You're watching KDLT's News 5, the station that's working for you.
Well, how long has it been since we've had like a good 5-day forecast that you could brag about?
It's been a while. I think March. Wasn't it March 18th we hit 90 degrees, and ever since then it's been downhill. I'm not sure if I'm positive on that, but I think it was March 18th. So you finished your deck?
I did. Well, no, it's in the process of being finished tonight. Hopefully it is finished when
we're all going to come over with some Coca-Cola and hang out this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds good. It looks like it's going to be a great forecast. Let's show you what it's looking like tonight. The high pressure is definitely moving in, that cold front, and the low pressure system is moving off to the east. Now, we do still have some showers until about 12 o'clock tonight in extreme southeastern South Dakota, but most of that by midnight will push off, bringing in partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the 40s tonight, so you can see cooler air behind that front. But by tomorrow, we will see that high pressure kind of pumping up that warmer air, and we'll see those temperatures rise into the upper 70s and lower 80s. 70s mostly here, and you get to the extreme northwestern South Dakota, we'll see some 80s around there. As far as Saturday, looks to be another gorgeous day. A cold front, more warmer air moving in. That cold front's going to weaken, and it's really not going to bring us any chance of showers around here. But the good news is this hot air that's going to be coming up, and the other good news, it's not going to be humid, so we're going to be able to enjoy a nice weekend. What's up, Sean Boyd? Cool temperatures to the east, and that will remain there. We'll just see warmer temperature for the next 3 to 4 days. Tonight, though, we'll see a temperature of 50 degrees. We'll see a couple of showers, ending by midnight, then remaining cloudy throughout the night. By tomorrow, warming up to 73 degrees. Get out and have some fun. Let's bring your 5-day forecast in for you. 83 on Saturday, 89 on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, upper 80s again. You can't really find a cloud in the sky. And yes, Sherry, I think this is probably the first time we've had a clear 5-day forecast.
We'll call you Santa Claus.
Thank you.
Coming up in sports, Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
And on the diamonds, the amateurs take to the birdcage while the Canaries are out of town. John Wilson has the highlights. More news is next.
Motor Trend said it like this. Chevy CK Series has a range of gasoline power plants that darn near rip the GM dynameter out of the floor. You get 200 horsepower with the standard 4.3-liter V6. That's more than Ford or Dodge. And Chevy still gets better fuel economy. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road year after year. In fact, in a recent survey, owners of trucks from 1991 ranked Chevy full-size trucks #1 for reliability. See your Heartland Chevy dealer today.
Shop for Father's Day at the Western Way Work Warehouse and choose from hundreds of great-looking Western suits and sport coats. Western shirts on sale in both long and short sleeves. You'll find Western hats in qualities from 2X to 20X. Western boots by all the famous makers. Or how about a new, more comfortable pair of work boots Dad would just love? And if that's not enough choices, get him a gift certificate so he can get what he wants. At the Western Way Work Warehouse in Rapid City and now, Sioux Falls.
If you drink water in Mitchell, you may want to take note. The city is in the process of a 3-year...
Concerned about their water.
We got both largemouth and smallmouth bass in here. So it's nice to be able to come fishing and not find a lot of trash on the shore. And that just kind of adds to the pleasure of being out in the outdoors.
Bob Johnson loves to spend his days off fishing with the boys in Lake Mitchell, especially since the fish caught here can be eaten. Lake Mitchell is pretty clean, and since it's Mitchell's only source of drinking water, the city wants to keep it that way.
As the algae increases, the pH increases too.
Water samples have been collected since 1993 for a water quality study that will show what the water is like now so they can see how it changes. The results aren't back yet, but they do know the water has some phosphates in it.
I guess what we're trying to find out is, if that's so, how do we solve it? And the study he's supposed to help us, tell us what we could do to help cut down on the phosphate.
Residents of Mitchell are concerned about the future of their water supply since the purchase of a large area of land by an Iowa man along Firesteel Creek. Mitchell Mayor Don Daly says DeCoster Farms of Iowa, a hog confinement operation, has had a history of draining waste. Daly's concern is that the creek drains into Lake Mitchell.
When someone purchases land that's on a direct drainage area into a water supply, there's always reason for concern. My feeling is, regardless of how well anything is done, there's going to be accidents.
Mayor Daly says DeCoster hasn't told the city what his plans are for the land yet.
But that's leaving Mitchell residents wondering why Mr. DeCoster would buy land on a watershed if he wasn't going to use it for drainage. In Davidson County, Tracy O'Halloran, News 5.
City officials want to stress that Mitchell's water supply presently is not in danger.
An emotional battle over the high school in Hills, Minnesota is dividing the community. The state agency is expected to decide this month whether the Hills Beaver Creek School District can ask voters for $5.5 million to renovate the high school. The Minnesota Fire Marshal recently cited the school for 50 fire code violations. Meantime, the issue of declining enrollment prompted a state study which recommends the 7th through 12th grade school close and bus those students 15 miles to Laverne. Locals are divided over the issue. Many say the Hills School is essential to the community, while others say it's no longer providing a first-class education.
When there's activities at night after school, they're close by. They don't have to stay in another town and kill a couple hours before, like if there's a game in between, they can go home. Parents see their kids, and I think it's more of a family-type atmosphere.
Because of the value of property in our community, we aren't able to provide, in my opinion, all the adequate courses that we need to offer our children.
The state is expected to make its recommendations sometime this month. In the last 7 years, 78 Minnesota schools have closed.
You're watching KDLT's News 5, the station that's working for you.
Steel, maker of the #1 selling brand of chainsaw worldwide, also makes a full line of trimmers with enough power to handle almost any size job. It could be one of the more useful tools you'll ever own. Available in Steel territory, starting at $79.95.
The Sony home theater experience is the TV, so the bigger the better, but it's also the sound.
You heard the audible line. Touchdown.
Buy Sony with 0% interest, no money down, and no finance charge for 1 year.
Quality Sony and quality service to back it up. Pro Audio, 6th and Main, downtown Sioux Falls.
But we'll watch the replay at my house.
Got a big screen?
Yes, a big screen.
Oh, that's
Pro
nice.
Audio's where I bought it, and don't be late. That's what I...
It's no secret that I've dated a lot of women.
You were never going to call me! You thought you could waltz for the rest of your life and never bump into me again, but you were wrong, Jerry, you were wrong!
With mixed results.
Weeknights at 6:30.
No one knows business communication like AT&T, and no other dealer in Sioux Falls is authorized to sell AT&T telephone equipment, except Compro.
Okay, liberal. Oh, here it is, liberal. Votes for more welfare and as opposed workfare. See Tim Johnson.
Watch Dennis Franz and NYPD Blue. You only see him from here down, and he's got no pants on. He's got no pants on. Huh?